Yes, that was a bit of a uh, wasn't expecting that. But listen, before we introduce ourselves, this intro, the Armoury. Yes.
Okay, okay.
That's how we're doing. New season, new dawn, new beginnings. Hey, and we start off with a victory against Man City. Listen, I don't care what anyone says. This is the proverbial season curtain raiser, and it's about time we beat that team, albeit on penalties. But first, let me introduce my guest, co-host, as usual, Gumsa. How you doing, brother? How are
I'm
you
good. I'm
doing?
I'm I'm happy. It was a great game. Obviously, I know you was there. I was there as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm so glad I got tickets in the end and went and literally just got through the door. But it was well worth the journey, man. Really was worth it. So big up and
Uh,
hope you're well.
I'm very well. I'm very well. Do you know what? Yeah, we were both at the game, and obviously different views and such. I saw your video. Loved it, man. You had a very, very good view.
Yeah,
I was
I
up.
got a nice seat.
I was up on a. I was kind of like riding on a blimp where I was, man. I tell you, man, Wembley is huge. You don't
Yeah,
really realize it until you're actually there and you're up in the gods. Do you know what I mean? But
yeah.
yeah, I loved it nevertheless. First, before we actually do get into this, let's kind of bring in, and again, as always, man, people in the chat, people viewing. This shows about you guys, and obviously the interaction that you guys have with us makes this, what it is. Tony Fulbright, how you doing? How you doing, mate? It's good to see you. Tell us how you're feeling about this victory today. I know, yeah, people say it's pre-season, it's shield, blah blah blah, and all that kind of stuff. But I think both managers went quite strong with their lineups, really,
Mm.
and I think a lot of it is based on fitness and how players are. But Silver One, how you doing? Absolutely double this. We like the intro. We
Yeah,
liked
sick.
it.
Very
We
good.
liked it. Good stuff. I tell you, who the new account, obviously new season. We used up all the budget on that intro. That's it. Yes, it's always a trophy unless we win it. Absolutely. You know what people say in it. So there's someone actually in the chat right now who's salt personified, but we'll get to him. Guna Greg, how you doing? Just been reading Georgina had it. What? Okay. That's a bit odd if that is true. We'll have to speak to our insiders about that one and see how true or whatever that is. I mean, because it
Mm.
was noticeable, he wasn't around
He
today.
didn't come on. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yes, Iris Carrega, 2 trophies in 1 week. Can't complain. You want to win whatever you're in, right? So, hey, that's all you can do. Here we go. Here's the salt. Here's the salt. Is it? Congrats on your silver plate. Listen, you got to be in it to win it, right? And we're in it, and we won it. Mr. B, hope you're good, bro. Yes, silver one, Mr. B. I'm eating my dinner from. Absolutely. And then, gun down. Okay,
Mm.
lost the performances from both teams. Havertz has got Chelsea syndrome when playing as a false nine, and Ramsdale is bricking it, knowing Raya is on his way. Let's get into this actually, and we'll get into the performance, and let's get into the game because that's quite harsh actually. You could say actually, let's for me the first 20 minutes was pretty much for me was a chess game
Mm.
in a sense that we've been stung so many times going gung ho in terms
Mm,
of trying to press Man City and them picking us off and scoring a goal. And to be honest, their goal came from that really. But let's start
mhm,
with the first 20 minutes though of the game, and how we played and the chess game. I mean, Gumsa, from a tactical perspective, watch it. From how was you seeing the game, how it was playing out? Did you kind of see that kind of in a sense that we had that kind of plan, in a sense that we're not going to get picked off no matter what? We've got a plan in place in terms of how or when they have the ball and how we are set up.
mhm. Candace, this is why I love you. This is why I love you. Um, because again, I get watching it from TV to watching it live is two different experiences. However, I remember watching the game when we played them last time, and I don't know, I was on the review, and I said I've never seen City not use their wingers. I've never seen
Mm,
them say, all right, they just kept going into Haaland and De Bruyne was running off him left, right, and centre. And them two players absolutely murdered us. They didn't even use the wingers. Um, I loved our tactical approach. The first 20 minutes, we said, you got to break us down. Come and break us.
absolutely.
And City tried and they tried this, and they can see they tried different things. Players were moving around, they were rotating a lot, couldn't break us down. And there was a noticeable moment. Someone went down injured. I can't remember who it was. And Odegaard ran over to Arteta, and I think it was that conversation of, I think we have it sus now. Now let's step on the front foot. And you saw from that moment you started to
Yeah,
press. And
yeah,
I'm not against that. Settle into the game, play your way in. We didn't
absolutely.
15 minutes, I don't think. We
Yep.
we didn't touch the ball, but we were compact and they didn't create anything.
Yeah.
And I felt our way into it. So the lacklusterness, actually, it's a tactical masterclass for me because, like you said earlier, we've too many times we've gone and we played sometimes the better football when we play these
Yeah.
games. And then we get caught on a break and then we're 1-0 down, 2-0 down, and we're chasing. And that's so for me, the way we
It's,
set up was brilliant. The Havertz, people are saying he didn't have a good game, and I feel it's
hey,
very harsh.
that's harsh as well.
And again, sometimes you are isolated up there, but what I think he gave me and what I saw in that performance is he's given us another way of playing. We've seen it in pre-season. We've gone long a few times into the striker, and we
Mm,
did it today. And he won a couple of flick-ons, he held a couple, and it enables us to build. And this is where we went wrong as Arsenal last season. Sometimes we was too predictable. It had to play out from the back, so teams would just squeeze us and squeeze us and squeeze us. What this does now, him going up there, it means
yes.
give one into him, and then we can play off the second ball. We're further up the pitch, and now as a defensive unit, that's happening again. You might answer your DM right. You've got to sit in front of Havertz now because they're just pinging into Havertz's feet.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
and that creates space for a midfielder now to play and operate in them spaces. So, as much as yes, he didn't pull up trees, I don't think anyone played bad in that whole game. The other pitch, not either team. I can't say one player had a bad game. No one scores
Yeah.
below a 7 from either team. I think it was a very tactical game. When everyone done their job really and honestly, like I can't say Havertz was bad or lackluster or anything like that. I think he
I
done well.
I agree with you 100%.
What,
And
sorry, can I jump in? I tell you one person who played less than a 7, and that was the other striker, Haaland. Didn't see the ball. He didn't do anything. If
Saliba
Havertz
just
gave me that, yeah,
yeah,
that was the
I
difference.
thought Saliba, the physical battle between those two was very interesting, and it
Mm,
was brilliant to see those two go at it.
mm,
I think there's also probably, I'm not sure if there's an element of fitness or whatever on Haaland's side, but it was kind of
well,
telling that Pep took him off in a sense
yeah,
like, oh, okay, should we try something different now? Because Saliba was brilliant against him, I
yeah.
thought, in my opinion.
And
Um,
Haaland relies on service, don't he? He needs
yes,
service into the box to
yes.
do something. And
And
yes, when he gets in,
Kovacevic
he's
is is
ridiculous.
is no Gundogan at all.
Mm, mm,
Uh,
mm,
that I think they might struggle in the centre, to be honest.
mm.
Admittedly, what De Bruyne does when he comes on,
Oh, different.
yeah, yeah, he sees that switch all day, doesn't he? Yeah,
And
and
do you know what I like
it's
about him as well? He doesn't get involved in the build up. He just takes himself well away. But what he does by doing that is, I'm in acres of space. So when it does finally land to me, and there's such good players in that City team
yeah,
where we can keep all a man down. But once we
yeah,
get it out to him, he's now in acres, and he just kept drifting off to that side, didn't he, near Ben White, and just sat in the pocket,
A-
and every time the ball got
Absolutely.
there, he's now running at your back line. He's a nightmare to pick up. So
Absolutely. So when he came on, things changed. But so that 20 minutes, we had that chess game, and I think after that, we kind of came into the game. I
mm,
thought, as you said, we kind of stepped on, and we was causing them problems. And
mm,
everybody's saying that Havertz should have scored. I think he had two chances at the very
mm,
least. I think one of them was a bit behind him,
mm,
but one of them, yeah, again, it. I'm not sure if it's a case of, oh, that's Eddie, is everybody on his case, etc., and all that kind of stuff. But I thought though, apart from his finishing, Havertz had a decent game. But
mm,
I thought overall and everything, we grew into the game and we started to take over. And I
mm.
think, when it got to half time, I thought we was the better team. I mean, in the last 25 minutes of that half, how did you see it from your perspective?
Yeah, we took, as like you said, we took over. We did create the best of the chances. And yeah, another day Havertz scores. One of them, like you said, was behind him. He done well to get hold of the
Yeah,
touch actually,
and
and was
Martinelli
just
could have
clinical.
put it
Yeah,
away, put the rebound away as well.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, and then the other one, I think he was on his right foot. But strikers are gonna miss. Like Haaland's, do you know what I mean? I don't know. He's something special. He's the most clinical. Kane, don't get me wrong, them guys are clinical.
Yeah,
But yeah, end of the day, I'm happy with what we're working with at the moment. Like, a
yeah,
striker's not going to score every chance. And the fact it's more important that your striker gets them opportunities than if he's not getting chances. Because he's not getting chances because we're not creating or he's not doing anything in the right areas. His runs or movements wrong or he's getting marked. So end of the day, it is what it is. Like, I was just happy with the again. We want to win every game, but that filled me with more confidence today.
yeah.
Because in preseason there was a few games I was like, we're not looking great. We're doing okay, but we're not looking like last year. I remember last year preseason, it was unbelievable, but I don't think teams
Unbelievable.
were
The
expecting that
change,
from
wasn't
us.
it?
Yeah, we was
Yeah.
at tempo, but yeah, I was at halftime. I was happy. I was really happy at halftime what we was doing.
So, what I mean with that, what you just touched on there about how we looked and everything, in pre-season as opposed to how we look today and everything in defence. I want to touch on the back four basically that started. Yeah, uh, you're in Timber,
Mm,
Gabriel, Saliba, Ben White,
mm.
and Ramsdale. Your thoughts on those five as a unit?
Unbelievable. They were solid. They covered each other. They went toe to toe. Like they were strong. Um, yeah, it was a real solid performance. When they had to get the ball down and played, they played. When they had to go long, they went long.
Yeah,
Like, and I think that's what Havertz gives you. It just gives you that ability to just let me just get it up there into something. Whereas before, sometimes because there's not an
bit
option,
of to
you
ease the
make
pressure
an
that's
extra
coming.
pass, so you don't need
Yeah,
to. And yeah, and just to go to one comment, going down to blame Arteta for making that sub. Why are you taking off your best defender? I'm not too sure if you saw it, Candice, because it was you was that side where the dugout was, wasn't you?
we talking about Timber.
Yeah,
He was knackered.
yeah, he was
He,
done,
he
and
made
you
he
see,
made yeah.
he's rolled his
He gave the
shorts up.
ball away,
Yeah, he
and
turned
he was
around.
knackered.
He was done. And then if you watch it again, I was on the other side, so I could see the bench.
Yeah.
We was making a sub. Who was our
Oh,
first
straight
sub to
away.
come on?
Yes, yes. It was. He was bringing on. But I think
He was bringing on
literally
Trossard, and then he turned
that's
around and
it.
said to Tini, "Hurry up and get down here."
Yeah. He said, "Come on."
And Tini wasn't
Look.
ready to come on. And then
Yeah.
if you watch, things slowed down when he came off, and then Trossard took
Right.
his time, so it allowed Tini to quickly get on. Timber
Yeah.
was out on his feet, so it
Out.
wasn't a
Yeah.
it wasn't a switch from
It wasn't a
Arteta
case of
saying
oh yeah
he played
yeah
bad
no
or one of yeah, he
absolutely.
was done. He was done. His legs were
And
done.
Rice was done as well. You could
Yeah.
tell as well. He was done. Um,
Mm.
touching on £1 million, £100 million man, what did you think of his performance
Um.
in the game? I personally thought he grew into the game
Mm,
in a sense that he was doing. I think he's got this trademark kind of thing. I'm not sure if you see it where it's like he sneaks up and then he races. Boom, and he pitches the ball off you. He did it a
mm,
couple of times against Rodri and a couple of other players. And I thought that's something about him which is brilliant to see actually, getting the ball back, winning the ball back and starting off then attacks. I
yeah.
thought he grew into the game. I think it was an easy progression for him, and something which I think is a bit more athletic. He was doing that kind of Jacques
Mm,
role, and
mm,
I don't
mm,
think we missed. I thought we was quite fluid today in midfield, to be honest. And I thought, yes, you would naturally want a left-footed player playing that role.
Mm,
However, I thought such was his position and everything. We was so solid with those two,
yeah,
him and Party.
yeah. I agree with you. I think what he did give me, and what I noticed was that recovery pace as well. He tracked
Yeah,
down one player at one stage, and he covered the ground very quickly. He ate it
yeah.
up, to be honest with you. And it's just those little differences make a massive difference. Like, um, and again, there's going to be games for him to play the eight. There's going to be games for Havertz to play the eight. There's going to be games for Smith Rowe to play the eight. But what we've got is options, and that's what's good to see. So yeah, as I said, I think it's a very good signing. Um, we haven't seen, I don't think, his full capabilities. I saw him marauder once or twice in this game. He started to
Yeah.
drive up the pitch with the ball, and that's what I want to see from him as well, because he has got the ability to do that. He played a couple of little 1-2s and got him behind.
If there's a pitch
Um,
that's going to test your fitness, Wembley is the one.
Wembley, yeah,
You know?
yeah, it's gonna slap your legs. But yeah, all in all, I think we were solid, weren't we? Like midfield wise, I wouldn't say we won the midfield battle, but we definitely didn't lose the midfield battle. I think it was both teams were very equal. I think even if you see the stats for the game, it was such an equal
Yeah.
chess match. Do you know what I mean? And the problem we had last year when we played City, we rectified that. And that was
Yes.
the most important thing we learnt from what happened in the last game. We kind of eradicated that ball into Haaland, and they had to find another way, and they couldn't.
Oh, I think
Yeah, we'll get onto the
the big
goal, but
thing with that was for me was Saliba, um,
mm,
because Gabriel had someone beside him who was
but I also
strong.
think the way because we didn't overly press, it meant there was that
Yeah,
big hole wasn't there, because that's what happened last year. They let us, they went deep. We went onto them. It created that big gap because Partey then has to press one of the midfielders. It created that
yeah,
massive gap to then just drop the ball onto Haaland. If you watch we were so compact, you can't dink the ball in there because our midfielder
yeah.
would just cut it out. So
That's
that,
gonna have
and
to come up with something
Saliba
else
was
now.
unreal, but he had support. He had the players in front of him to
Oh,
allow.
absolutely, 100%,
Yeah, so it,
hundred
it
percent.
was it was a it was a good adjustment, and the team responded. That's all we want to see.
Absolutely. So we went in 0-0 at half time. Let me just get through some of these comments because there's loads of them in. So yeah, Rambo 2 pen saves in 1 week too. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. I think you know what, he saved us at 1-0 as well, but
Mm.
we'll get into that.
Twice, yeah, he made two
Um,
good saves.
absolutely. And yeah, Iris, absolutely. There's guys, please smash the likes. Thank you very much. Tony, I'm getting my TV sorted because people weren't watching the match I was watching. I mean, I'd like to kind of get your take on it, Tony. I think there's certain things that obviously people want to see or don't see or whatever. But I think in terms of like the players that already people getting on their backs, like Havertz, etc. There was a time, especially when he had no right to win the ball when the ball come up to him. He had about three plays around him, and he still came out with the ball.
Mm.
With that being someone like Eddie or even maybe Jesus, because Jesus has got great feet, but what Havertz showed there was the ability to hold the ball up and have that physical presence, basically, to deal with that. So yeah, I was intrigued by being able to do that. We haven't been
Uh,
able to do that since
I
Giroud,
think,
have we?
yeah, and I think this is the difference. Jesus has got brilliant feet, but if you see how Jesus does it, he has to come to get the ball, which means
Yes,
he's doing that in the midfield area. Which now my
yeah.
defense is
And
the
still,
defense stays
yeah,
where
and
it
if we
is,
lose it there,
and yeah, and it's still compact. Whereas what you saw Havertz is he could stand still and say, "Go on, put it there," and I'll look after it. And that makes
absolutely.
do because now he's winning it on the back line. Now we can all work off it. So Jesus has got his qualities, no doubt. And I'm not saying this is about Havertz starting over Jesus, but I said there's going to be games for both. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see Havertz start against the big four more than we see in a striker role, more than we see Jesus. 'Cause it just gives us that extra little bit. We can just go
Would
direct
you
into him and build
agree
off.
then with the change then from because everybody probably would have had Nketiah starting instead of Havertz? I mean, do you agree with the change?
No, I
I
think it's the
guess
right thing to
in
do.
hindsight's a wonderful thing, right? But
Yeah, and everyone knows I love Eddie, and Eddie played well when he came on because he ran the channels very well, and then
he
I've
did,
been able
yes,
to get in behind. But on the on the actual game, I think it was the right choice starting Havertz.
yeah,
Sometimes you have to pick a squad which is capable of competing in these games. Ruben Diaz is no joke. John Stones is no joke. We've seen
Horses
Eddie
for
and
courses,
Jesus get
isn't it?
bullied in
Really?
them games. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
we've seen them boys get on the ball and the two back centre backs are pushing them so deep they end up just going back in midfield, losing the ball, and we haven't got out of our half.
Yeah.
Havertz was a good foil for us today, and again, it's not every game you can have fluent, attacking, fast, pacey football, skillful. Again, Giroud's like the master of it. I mean, he went through the World Cup without scoring a goal, but got a World Cup medal. And I guarantee Griezmann and those guys probably say, "I love playing with Giroud more than anybody else because he just does
Brings
what he has to
everyone
do to
into
bring you
play.
back into play."
He's
Yeah.
the
So
battering board, isn't he? He's the battering
yeah,
board, and
yeah,
and those players you got to have them as long as they're good at their trade, you know what I mean, and they're doing what they're doing. They're invaluable for a manager.
mm,
Just racking through these
yeah.
comments.
Fly through.
Um, saying BX Gunner Havertz was targeted from the tunnel. I think he did. I agree. BX Gunner, how you doing, mate? I thought Havertz did well today. I don't get this Chelsea. Um, I don't know, agent thing or whatever. I thought he was decent today, but
Yeah.
my boy played well. But some supporters can't get past it. Yeah, exactly that, Tony. I thought he had a decent game. To be fair, Gun down. He didn't have a good game. A clear quality striker buries them chances. Now, yes, and I, yeah. I mean, I don't disagree with that. Um, in terms of the second part of what you just said, but the first part, I thought he had a decent enough game,
Mm,
and I don't think he was bad. Um, I thought he had a good game. To be fair, I think what Arteta wanted him to do, I think he pretty much did. Apart from score a goal, if he had scored a goal, everyone would be talking about how brilliant he was and how
yeah.
brilliant the performance was. Uh, if we're going to be picky, Party and Tierney were to blame for the I
100%.
we'll get into that into their goal because one of the things that I guess was probably drilled into the players before the game or during the whole week in the build up of the game, during the pre-game talk, even at half time, what we did for their goal was probably what we was told not to do.
Mm,
So, but we'll get into that. You guys in the comments, man, you lot are going at it. So keep it going, keep it going. Um, Listen, so let's get on to the second half, and I think the second half kind of started pretty much the same way the first half started,
mm,
in the sense that we wasn't going to go all out. We kind of sit back, see what they've got, see if they've changed anything. Um, and again, after a while, though, we kind of took control again. But they were knocking on our door a little bit as well. It was more of an even game after about the 20-minute mark.
mm,
John Stones had a header, which was luckily straight out Ramsdale, and then they made a couple of changes. The ball is it Cole Palmer,
mm-hmm.
guy on plays on the right, left
KDB.
footed, yeah. And I think we're gonna try and kind of break down the goal in a sense because as
Mm,
soon as it happened, I said we're in trouble.
mm,
So I think Rice was a little bit kind of out to the left. Party was pretty much the one man. Foden was someone who's just come on. He's got fresh legs, and
mm,
obviously he's got a point to prove. Ball comes, fizzes into him. Party thinks he can get it. Maybe a little bit tired or whatever. Sticks out a leg. Foden rolls him. Boom. Now they're on our
right
back.
on. Mm,
Yeah, there's literally a 3-on-3. And to be fair, they got a bit lucky with the break in the terms of the ball going out from Foden. I think he was looking for Palmer. It got kind of stopped, and then it was it to De Bruyne, I think it was,
I
and
think,
then he only half stopped it, came back to De Bruyne, and he headed it onto Palmer,
mm,
and then we're in trouble because now it's a case of Tierney's not set, because obviously he's
then
just
he
come on,
slips. Yeah.
he slips, and I was literally right behind that shot. As soon as it left his foot, it was
Mm.
in. Um, do you want to give us your view of the goal,
Do you know
basically?
what, it's exactly that. It's Partey at first. Um, again, you don't have to win every ball. Sometimes just being nice and tight, making your man go backwards is enough. I don't know what he thought he could see because I was the other corner to you, so I could see a great angle, and he's gone on. He's tried to go on Foden's blind side,
Yeah,
um, and
and
Foden.
he's just
I don't know.
rolled
I
him
don't know if he
neatly. Yeah.
scanned him or if he felt the contact, and he
Mm.
just span him, and Partey was gone. Um,
He had
and
to
then
pay to come back in, didn't he, Party?
yeah, he got spun all out, bless him. And then yeah, it was like a crossfield ball, and Tierney, I think he thought was maybe he was going to go inside him. You see, he tried to readjust his body, and he got a deflection on it. And so again, from where I was, I couldn't really see. I see he made contact, but again, I don't. I need to watch
He
that
kind of like
bit
he
back to
half
see.
stopped it. The ball bounced up, and then De Bruyne
Yeah,
then, because
flicked it.
it was lucky, it came back to De Bruyne straight from that, and I think he just straight away nodded it on to
Yeah,
Cole Palmer, and then which
so
kind of created an overload then,
uh,
and then but
he come
both
inside and he
Gabriel
bent the knife out of
and
it.
yeah,
Yeah. I think maybe the touch, maybe Tierney could do better. But again, he literally just come on the pitch. Like it was, I think if he was 5 minutes into the game, he may have got better contact with it. Do you know what I mean? But I think it is what it is. I'm not gonna really go for Tierney for that. Like because again, sometimes they're the worst wins when you read what the person is trying to do and they mishit it. So now it throws you off because the
yeah,
ball should have been really in between Tierney
yes,
and Gabriel, and it was the other side of him, it was the wrong side. So he probably just couldn't just like I say, I'll have to watch it back properly, but Partey has to hold his hands up. However, I don't want
absolutely.
to hear anybody going at Partey, selling or anything like nonsense because the guy was unbelievable today. And this is
I
where
think he
I'd
started off
say
quite shaky. There was a free straight
he
pass.
got booked for something silly, and it took him a few minutes to kind of
Right.
bring his head back, wasn't it? The booking was
Yeah.
ridiculous. Um, but after that, the guy is unbelievable. And I keep saying to people, there's nothing better if you're a defender, the way we play, just knowing I can give this guy the ball, and when I'm under
Yeah.
pressure, I can give it to him, and he deals
Yeah.
with it. He's just got mirrors everywhere. And then what I will say is, about a few minutes after that mistake he made for them to score, and this is why I keep saying sometimes we might need to bail Partey out because he bailed Ramsdale out
Yeah.
massively. Ramsdale went to I don't know what pass he went to hit, he completely mishit one into their striker and
Everyone just
get in
groaned at
to
that point. It
goal.
was just
So
like,
we're one
oh,
nil down and it's two, and Partey's come from nowhere and bailed him
boom.
out massively. So
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? It's an 11 on the pitch. If one makes a mistake, someone's got to try and help him. And I'm not
100%.
saying, yeah. So for me, that goal we learn from. I think Partey will learn from that. Do you know what I mean? We was
Yeah,
trying to play on the front foot. We got caught. Um, but yeah, I think apart from that, and like you said, the first 5 minutes he was a bit shaky. But apart from that, the guy he's different. He's different. I'll be honest with you,
absolutely.
he's different.
Absolutely. I think from midfield, defence midfield, I thought we were solid. We looked
Mm,
absolutely solid today. And
mm,
for us to go, all right, just from a little lapse of concentration, but that's all Man City need really because listen,
they're
they are
good.
brilliant.
They're good.
They're so good. I don't think you realise, I think, you know what? I don't think we actually appreciate how good we are because
Yeah,
this Man City team is. I can't. I don't think apart from me seeing a Barcelona team dismantle Espanyol in the Camp Nou when Messi was playing. I don't think I've seen a team as good
yeah,
as Man City. They are really good, and what we did today, to kind of to have a great plan, because now football is getting so much more and more tactical. Um,
mm,
to go toe to toe with them, and it's going to be some huge battles in the league. I tell you
mm,
that.
mm, mm.
It's football now is so different now, and I don't think we appreciate how actually good
Yeah.
our team
I
is.
on the drive home, I was listening to a couple of commentators, and not your normal like fan channels like us, but professionals, ex-pro players,
Yeah,
and they were saying they could see Arsenal and City just rolling over most teams, and I
yeah.
think they were really impressed with Arsenal's performance today. Because again, you can sometimes beat City not by playing well, but just do you know what I mean? Your luck could be on your side, or it could be a
We
defensive
didn't
aspect. You
deserve
might
to
nick
be a
something.
goal down,
No, no,
or
no,
we
no,
did. Sorry, what I will say is that we didn't deserve to lose that game.
no, no.
If we had lost that game 1-0, I would have been
Yeah, I
again.
mean a lot more frustration. Like
Yeah,
sometimes you come out of them games, you're like, do you know what, we got beat by the better team, but I'm so proud. I remember playing Liverpool before, and I'm like, we've given them a good
we've
game.
gone past those days now.
Yeah, remember City a few years ago when we got the
Yeah,
red card, and it was
yeah.
like we come out
That's
of
the
that.
same. That's the same ref, by the way, and we'll get onto the
Yeah,
ref watch
oh
as well.
god, yeah. He was back, but yeah, it's nice to see we can stand with them because yeah, it was an equal game. Like it was a real
Absolutely.
equal game. So it's good signs. I think that's the most important. And again, we probably will get on to substitutions and that, but this is the difference, isn't it? This is what we lacked a bit last year.
Yeah.
And yeah, it bodes well. It bodes well.
And we'll get onto it, but this is what I'm loving about this current squad, is that they're ever evolving in the sense that they're
Mm,
learning, that they're
mm,
taking on, they're being a sponge for the information that Arteta can see and what they're trying to implement now. Because that performance, if if we had that performance last season, things would have been a whole lot different. But it's all
mm.
about learning and evolving,
Learning,
and
yeah,
hopefully,
maturing,
this
yeah.
season we're a different beast and we're a different animal. I'm just going to rattle through some of
Yeah, yeah.
the comments because guys, fantastic in the comments there. Um, Tony Fulbrook. So Foden and Rodgers should have scored. Forget Ramsdale, save them. I mean, he is a goalie. I mean, listen. I think Tony. I think you're probably alluding to that when we was 1-0 1-0 down, and Ramsdale made a couple of fantastic saves.
Hmm.
Obviously, I spoke before, anyway. Before it was 1-0, he made the save against John Stones, the header. Well, I mean, it was straight at him, fair enough, but still, you got to do that.
Reactions,
But
yeah.
then, yeah, the Foden one, it was past him.
I think they're right saving it. I don't know if he even knew much about it, to
Yeah,
be honest. When you watch the replay, you realise it kind of
it was
went
his
through
back leg, wasn't
leg
it?
and his back heel hit it. Yeah,
Yeah,
could
yeah,
have
and
gone
then the
anywhere,
Rodri
but
header from the corner. I don't know if
mm,
that was a mishit corner or that
it
was
looked
like
rehearsed.
design.
Rodri, he went there. I think that was rehearsed, and
Yeah,
even the rebound, he
design.
got down too well as well, didn't he? So
Mm.
fair play to him.
Yeah, I mean, listen, they're an amazing team, man. And we was watching the first 20 minutes. We was just kind of, I think everyone beside me and everything in front of me was just saying, this team's bloody good, man.
Yeah.
But
Do you
look,
know?
listen, as we
It's
said,
sometimes.
we went toe to toe with them, and hey,
Mm. And like I
but
said, just saying to my son, like I know I'm an Arsenal fan, so it's different. When we get pressed in a corner, I'm so nervous and panicky. When I watch them lot, I'm just like, they just pop five
they do
passes
it.
and they're out, and
They
I'm
pop
thinking,
it.
how are they
Yeah,
getting out that
yeah,
easy? Like
yeah.
they got out. Yeah, I don't know how they're just. Yeah, I
They're
think
good.
they're so comfortable on the ball. Doesn't
What
like yeah,
they do is, and what's brilliant is that you'll probably see it. I mean, when you do your tactical analysis, Gumsa, I'm sure you'll see what happens is that their keeper will have the ball. He'll hold on to it. So Havertz will probably come from the side,
mm,
and then as soon as there's that little gap, he'll just pop it
trigger.
into the middle. Then they'll pop it back, and then he'll pop
Mm,
it to where Havertz has come from. And they did that over and over again.
mm,
And
mm,
they
mm.
were so good at it, and they always got out. And I
And
don't
this is
think,
And this is also what I was saying. Havertz can't press like people were asking him to press in that game. You
no,
can't physically do it. His job was his job.
yeah,
Odegaard was more of the trigger for the press
yeah,
than Havertz was.
yeah,
So yes, when you look at it, you think Havertz is the striker, he should be pressing, but that's not his role. Like Martinelli has to do a job with Kyle Walker, which means
yes,
Havertz has to then take John Stones. So Odegaard's almost left with the two because he's then got Partey, Saka, and a few others around him. So if you actually watch it, and this is what it is, isn't it? You press from an area. It's like that's the trigger point. Whenever they reach this zone, is when we start engaging the press.
yeah,
And you can see them. You can see Odegaard. Even that he moves to the side a bit to say, right, I'm
yeah.
shutting off that angle there, so you can only go one place, and then I'll. Do you know what I mean? So as much as people think Havertz isn't doing enough, actually Havertz is doing his job
He's
because
doing it enough.
if he allows Stones out, and remember the last game, Stones was
Problem.
playing in that centre midfield role. He could just
Yes,
drop in there and cause a havoc. So Havertz actually completely nullified it. Stones didn't go into that zone at all because Havertz has blocked up the space. He said, if you
yes,
having the ball, Stones, you're having it in front of me there, and then I'll press it. Do you know what I mean? So it's important that again you can't just go as an individual and press. We had that of Alexis. Do you remember Alexis Sanchez used to run around like a
yeah,
madman?
yeah.
As much as we all like, oh, he's doing and
Oh,
working hard. Actually,
yeah,
he's killing the rest of the team because you're running out like a madman, and now there's space everywhere, and now everyone else has got to cover the space you've left open.
right.
So I much rather we work as a unit, and if it means we don't press as much against a team like City, so be it. They struggle to score. It
Yeah,
was a mistake how they. Do you know what I mean? So
exactly that. I
yeah,
don't mind us being boring in that sense where we just, okay, do
100%.
you know what I mean? Because Man City are a team that can just pick you off like that.
Hmm.
And you've got to maintain that kind of level of discipline basically against that team for 90 or 100 minutes, whatever it is.
Do you know that was what I was saying to the guy next to me? I said, I'll be real. I have to give. these players the utmost respect to
mm,
stay that disciplined
yeah,
mentally for 90 or almost 100 minutes now when
yeah,
you're playing the new rules that's coming in.
yeah.
That must take a lot because you can't make a mistake. I'm
You
talking a
can't.
yard. If you're a yard off, that is enough for City to hurt you because if
Yeah,
you're too far away, that means now they can play where they want to play. If you're too close, they're going to spin you like Foden did. And when you talk, it's margins.
absolute
If
margins,
Saka's too
and
far
Man
to the
City are
right,
good
it
enough.
opens a
Yeah,
passing lane. You have to be. You can see the concentration of these players, and even when you watch City defensively, I'm not sure if you saw them when they press. They started to press at the halfway line. We go back 5 yards, and they almost move like an army, like vroom,
yeah,
vroom,
yes.
vroom, like that. And all of
It
a
was
sudden,
crazy.
they're
I
not
was just
getting into your
thinking their
box.
press is so good.
It was ridiculous. Literally, they went
Yeah,
like that, and then it went back, and they went that way. And look, but every time we passed the ball, we ended up going 5 yards back, and their press was coming 5 yards forward. It was
yeah.
like, yeah, it was like an
That's what I'm
army
saying.
drill. It was
Tactics in
they're
football. These
ridiculous.
guys, Pep and
And
Arteta, fair enough, they're from the same school or whatever. But everybody in this Premier League are going to have to up their game because
it's
the
different.
game what I was watching,
It's
and
different.
it's hard to kind of to catch it on TV because you can't
Mm,
see what's happening at sometimes, obviously because the
yeah,
camera's following the ball. But when you see certain triggers, the
behind the scenes.
players see
Yeah,
those certain triggers and they go. And the
and
Man
all
City
of
press,
them.
it was
Yeah,
scary because,
it was all 11 shots and moving at the same speed at the
yeah,
same time. It again, it's amazing to watch it when you watch it live. And just so
absolutely.
I know we keep going, cannons, but one thing I
I
will
know.
say as well,
Let me crack on
no, let me just
with
can I
some.
just throw this one comment in quickly?
Go ahead.
So
Yep.
I don't know if you heard the Declan Rice interview on the pitch side after the game, and I think this is what we
Yeah.
have to take into account as well. His words were, do you know how much information I've had to take in 3 weeks?
Mm,
And you've got to think we've had three players. Kai Havertz maybe had 4 weeks. Timber and Rice had 3 weeks. So we have three players out there who have not had a month under Arteta yet. And the tactical detail Arteta and Pep play with, like we've seen it with
it's
City.
ridiculous.
Sometimes it takes a player a year to settle in to Man City's way of
You have to go
playing.
home like it's homework.
Yeah, and we've seen how many players have we seen it take a year for them to settle? Grealish took a year. Mahrez took a year. Like these
Yeah.
players are coming, you're thinking they're going to hit the ground running, and they take a long time to settle in.
No.
We've had
Yeah.
three players after 3 weeks have to play in a game like that against City,
Yeah.
and they carried out that to a T. So
In,
yeah, we might not press as much
yeah.
as we want, but we have to let Timber get used to playing on the left side of defense. He's a right back or centre back. He's playing left back. So
Yeah.
again, it's a
Actually.
case of if we're not comfortable yet, we stay in our shape
Yeah.
because we're not quite comfortable yet, and all of a sudden we start to figure it out in the game. Now we can start releasing. So if that's the case, and we remember Tony Adams saying it when I remember he always said it. If he wasn't happy about something, he screams, "You don't move from that position. Midfield, you sit on
Mm,
my toes. You don't move for 5 minutes. Let's work this
yeah.
out as a unit, and then we can move forward." But for 5 minutes, you sit in there. We bank
Getting
up
there.
2 4s. We bank it, they do not come through here, and then we can reevaluate and adjust. And that's what we did today. We said 20 minutes, bank it up. You're not coming through here.
Let's
Right, we're
work it
now getting
out.
it. Timber knows where he needs to be. Rice is now understanding his triggers, and then we came out and opened up. So, yeah, as I said, I was so impressed with. This is one of my favorite performances, regardless win, lose or
Yeah,
draw. I was
yeah,
so
no,
impressed with what we did today.
absolutely. I would have been. It would have been born out of pure frustration had we lost that
Mm,
game 1-0 because we didn't. The performance didn't deserve that, and I think we got what we deserved today. Gun down. Yep, Timber and Sleeper will cast it well class today. Absolutely. I think Timber today. I was questioning the signing. I'm not going to lie,
was
because
you?
from a perspective of numbers of players that we have
Mm,
that can play that position, I'm
mm,
thinking Tomiyasu. I'm thinking, okay, so Chenko's he's unfit. But then you got the likes of Tierney still there, and etc. Um, Obviously, I'm not counting the likes of Cedric Suarez or whatever, um, but boy, have we got a player there.
mm,
For me, yeah, up there as manager man of the match. I think Gun Down. I think he's quite critical. I think of Arteta taking Timber off, but I think obviously on myself and Gumsa said he was absolutely out on his feet.
mm,
He was gone. I mean, I don't think in his time at Ajax really he's come against or played in a match like that. I mean, at Wembley against a team that
mm,
is possession hungry as Man City and are as good on the ball as Man
mm,
City are. Um, this is a baptism of fire for
mm,
anyone coming into into this kind of for it to be your first competitive game in England. It was a big game for him, and I think he
mm,
covered himself in absolute glory. Um, Saliba, Rolls Royce
unbelievable.
again,
Unbelievable.
absolutely on the ball. He's so confident and comfortable on the ball. You can't underestimate how much we actually missed him towards the back end of last
Mm,
season. Just his calmness, really, because nobody, even when he has two people around him, you just know that either he'll just do the easy percentage thing, get the ball away, or he'll find another player. He's
mm,
what Arteta's done with that, the way he's managed them is absolutely A class. Guna
mhm,
Greg looks like we've got our hybrid back four again. Absolutely, I think. And I think that the drop down, I'm not sure about you yourself, Gumsa, but I think the drop down of player when one is out injured or suspended or was rested is not as significant as it
mm-mm.
was in the last couple of seasons. And the
Yeah.
likes of Timber coming in for your Zinchenko. Last year, we would have had Tierney coming for Zinchenko. And look, no disrespect on Tierney, but we would have changed the whole way we played
Mm,
today if that was Tierney playing rather than Timber. Timber, I think, was magnificent. Tony
mhm,
Fulbrook, yep, the whole defense was good, and
mhm,
including Ramsdale in that. Yes, he did have a few shaky moments. It would be interesting because I think I'm not going to say it, but obviously tune in on Tuesday to Bobby. I think we might have a here you go coming soon for Raya.
mhm,
But yeah, obviously stay tuned. Obviously stay locked in for that. But it's going to be a big thing. It's going to be very interesting the fight between those two keepers because that is something that was going to be coming in. Yep, Timber was knackered. He couldn't get back. He was gone. And that's why he swapped him for Tierney. Doing a great. These rule changes will demand big quality squads for longer matches with no time for petulance, with a lot more bookings coming. Yeah, I think with all the rule changes and everything with the referees, if you don't retreat from a free kick, obviously I think Party got booked for kicking the ball away. It wasn't for the pull on the shirt.
no,
Apparently, it
was
was for
it
him.
really?
Yeah, it was for him kicking the ball away. He wasn't going to book him, and then he
Ah,
kicked the ball away.
okay.
Yeah, so things like that. Yeah, there's a lot of rule changes, and obviously, as you may have heard already, the whole thing in regards to the World Cup style of time added on. I guess that kind of helped us. So now we've got our Teta time, Tet's time. That's what we're going to call it, Tet's time, because it kind of came to. Hey, but do you know what? I always felt up until the end that we're going to have one more chance, and
Mm,
hey, Canada's just so right. People don't know how good we are, or they don't want to listen. Tony, I'm glad you're on the same page as me with this because we've got a good team and a great manager at this point.
mm,
People might just say, "Oh, what's he won?" Blah blah blah, and this and that. But I tell you what, he's cooking at the moment is phenomenal, and the players, which is the most important thing, are buying into his philosophy and the way to
mm,
play the game, such
mm,
as Gums has alluded to in terms of how much information Rice had to take in, Timbers had to take in, even the likes of Trossard. Trossard now is looking for me one of the one of the players of pre-season. I think he's
mm,
actually pushing Martinelli for that starting berth because how many goals has he got in this pre-season? And he looks
mm,
more and more comfortable being at Arsenal. He is now looking like he belongs in that Arsenal shirt. It's hard
mhm,
for any player to come in, in January, settle in, hit the ground running. He did to a certain extent, but
mm.
now I see him being more effective, such as with him with the goal. Hey, yo, my
Niger.
people, Niger. Look, I love that picture of him by the swimming pool. Yeah, look, what was that? What are you drinking there? Is that some Ray nephew there? Nigerian English word. People need to respect Tierney. One mistake all preseason, including today, and people are going mad. Tierney is the baller. Big up Saliba and team. But mentality was a point to come back going down late on. Absolutely A1. Thank you for that, Nigerian Englishman. I think he's listen. I love Tierney. it was harsh on him, the goal, simply because
He just
he
come
just
on.
come on, just come on. Party may have had a little bit of a rush of blood, thinking that he can win the ball, being spun by Foden. Boom! Now is a massive problem. But listen, I respect Tierney. I think if he doesn't leave, I'll be happy, very happy. I'll be happy if he
Mm.
stays. Um, but yeah, cool. Alrighty. So we're going to go on really now to the actual goal for us and how it was all coming and what was happening and
I think Canvas is frozen. Don't sure if you lot can hear me. Um, one of us is frozen. I think it's Canvas.
uh,
um,
I'm
are you
here.
back?
Sorry, I'm back. I think I'm back. Sorry, the technical gremlins are at work here, but yeah, I think we was coming back into it. We was pushing. We made a number of subs, and I think there were it showed really that Arteta did not want to lose this. He took off a defender for a forward, etc. And they all had a hand really. He was pushing, pushing, pushing. Got the corner. Um, wasn't the greatest of crosses, but it came back out. Saka fed Trossard. Boom.
Mm.
Arsenal since Timber was absolutely Timber was outstanding. Actually, yeah, let's read some of these. Actually, Arsenal since
I'm just gonna. I'm just gonna. You keep
yeah,
going. I'm
yeah,
just gonna stick them up.
no, I'm gonna read some of these out actually because um say Arsenal in '99, Man United won the treble and lost 2-1 to us. Oh, okay. In 2023, Man City won the treble and lost to us. Okay. Man United won the league again, didn't they? Because that was they're in the chart. I'm going to the game against Forest. Watching on TV never does the game justice. Absolutely. The thing is, Luke, how you doing, mate? When you do watch the game live and you see all the little kind of you can even sometimes hear what what the players say. If you're lucky enough to hear what was being said, etc.
Mm.
And you can watch the certain triggers. You can tell when it's going to happen, what the players are doing, and it's such a great thing to see. The TV cameras don't do the game justice sometimes, but absolutely. Just going on, obviously to our goal. Yes, it was deflected, but I think we was pushing for that.
Mm.
Your thoughts really on the goal, and was it deserved? I mean, fair enough. I know it was lucky, but deserved.
I think on terms of the basis of the match, we deserved the goal. Big deflection, as we said, but we didn't panic. We kept playing, and I'm going to give a special mention to my guy because people forget about this boy, man, like my birthday twin, Smith Rowe. Um, he's got to find himself a position in this Arsenal team.
Yeah.
Um, I think he could do well in eight. He could do well on the wing. I'm not too sure where he's going to best fit in, but what I will say is he's got an important part to play, especially I think coming off the bench. He quickens up the game, and I don't think
Yes.
people will realize it and understand how difficult it is playing intricate in the final third when there's a lot of bodies around it. And he quickens up a lot of things. And him and Trossard started to quicken the game up because before we were our probably possession was a lot in defence and midfield. It wasn't in the final third. And when them two come on, they started to play a couple of little 1-2 passes, getting it, moving it, getting it, moving. And just kept probing, kept probing, kept probing, and it could just move someone out of position a slightly. Um, and again, the sustained pressure came from Smith Rowe picking up the ball, and he's just playing off one touch a lot. Even if he's bouncing it into the centre backs, some people take one touch, two touch, then move it. He's just bouncing it, get it back, and he
Bounces it.
like a
Bounces it.
little
Yeah.
whippet. He just moves around and he pops up here and there. And yes, he hasn't clicked in like what we saw when he saved Arteta's career at Arsenal a couple of years back.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so since he's come back from injury, we haven't seen much end product from him, but he's getting involved in games and he's bringing something else, which is nice. Again, it's just a different option. Odegaard's very different kind of player in the position. He's got quality of pass and he oozes, and do you know what I mean? He does
Yeah.
some magical stuff. But Smith Rowe's got something a bit. He's a bit more kind of in your face with it. He's gonna try and run past you, and do you know what I mean? He's just gonna move off the ball and try and get in behind. Like he does a little bit extra, and I think he's gonna have an important role to play Um, and yeah, him
I
and
hope so.
Trossard come and done well. I think him and
Yeah,
Trossard done really well when they come on. And it
absolutely.
just
Just had some nice touches as well.
mm,
I could literally on the sides, back little kind of flicks here and there, and they're all coming off. That to me kind of just confirms and he. I think he feels that he's arrived at Arsenal. He
mm,
is an Arsenal player.
yeah. So yeah, I think I'm glad for him to score as well because he had a good preseason. I think a lot of fans were not to say upset he didn't start. I get why Martinelli starts today. When Kyle Walker's on the pitch, you go with Martinelli. Like it's just one of those things. Those two almost just got to cancel each other out, and you always play 10
Yeah,
against 10 rather than 11 against 11 because them two are just mad pace merchants. You know what I mean?
it's
But
ridiculous the pace.
I wouldn't want to play City without Martinelli playing out there if Kyle Walker's starting.
Yeah,
So and I think Man City fans are probably saying the same. If Martinelli's on the team sheet, then Kyle Walker's going to play. So I think
Kyle
before
Walker had
teams
to
go
play.
in, Kyle Walker's always going to play against Arsenal because we might start Martinelli and Martinelli's going to start because they might start Kyle Walker. So both managers are going to be safe and say Martinelli and Kyle Walker are playing. Do you know what I mean? And this has cancelled it out. So yeah, I'm not mad at Trossard not starting. I'm glad his head's still up high. He's not doesn't look like he's going to sulk about it. And yeah, I would like to see him start more, but again, it's where do you start him? Because yeah, Martinelli's got the shirt at the moment, and
Yeah,
yeah, you got to wrestle it back, and obviously Saka's untouchable. Um, but there's a lot of football to be played this year, so I'm sure we're going to see a
absolutely,
lot of
absolutely.
lot
I
of
think as soon as the thing is when Nketiah came, sorry, when Trossard came on, he didn't go out to the left. They shifted Havertz out to the left.
No, do you know? I don't think he actually naturally shifted. I think it was just where they ended up after a press,
You
and then
think so?
Havertz just went out there. Yeah, it was. Yeah. He just went.
Okay.
Havertz went out there, and then just looked after, and then they took off the midfield, and Havertz dropped into centre midfield, and then Nketiah went up front.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and
It was
then
just
well,
a good
that's
rotation.
that. Yeah, I was talking before, and Nketiah came on. I'm sure, um, but anyway, we'll
Yeah,
we'll we'll, 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 we'll we'll crack on. Um, so obviously full time 1-1, and there's the community shield. It goes straight to penalties and stuff. So before we get into the penalties, because obviously it's pretty much Man City's penalties were terrible. Let's deal with a couple of these comments. Let's see how refs deal with Bruno Fernandes then, because he's always in the ref. It'll be interesting. I think because all the thing with what's his name, the guy from Fulham who got banned for
Mitrovic.
yeah, I think from all of that, and there was obviously with Bruno Fernandes as well, all that kind of stuff. Now they're kind of trying to clamp down on that. Yeah, there's a reaction. How you doing, mate? Across the pond talk. Um, yeah, I need to get some of that merch, man. I need to.
Yeah,
I
it's
need
not
to.
cheap. I'll be honest with you. Birthday and Christmas. If you, that's what I just rely on that. Just give me some
That's
Arsenal
what you
merch.
have to do, innit? That's what you have to
Yeah,
do,
yeah.
mate. Nothing wrong with that, man. I tell you. Um, Yeah, I mean, Arsenal 687. Arteta needs to make substitutes a lot earlier than what he's doing. I think today was pretty much. Well, let's see if it is a running theme. But today, my feeling was that he was trying to. I reckon pretty much the 11 that start they will start
Mm,
the first game against
yeah.
Forest, and I think he was trying to get as much um, you know, money in the bank basically in terms of the fitness for the players.
Hmm.
Yeah, Timber, Tross, Saliba, Odegaard, all. Oh, I think Odegaard. There's one time I think he injured one of their players without even touching him.
Yeah,
Didn't he?
he dropped him. Yeah.
Oh, it was naughty. It was just like the
Mm,
guy got up and his ankle was like twisted or whatever. That was cracking up. Tony thought a bit Madrid looks at Arsenal and thinks money. Yeah, listen, money can't buy you everything, okay? It can't buy you happiness. Luke Trossard has been fantastic. What a signing. What were people's first reactions when we signed him? Because apparently lots of fans didn't really rate him. I actually I actually thought it was a decent purchase. I didn't think it was great. I have to admit. I was vested, in us getting Modric. And I thought, okay,
mm,
fair enough. This is plan B. But I guess now I'm very much happy with sometimes you can look at Trossard as a blessing in disguise, really, in a sense that we missed out on Modric. That is the blessing in disguise, really, that we missed
mm.
out on him. He's been brilliant. I think he's now an Arsenal player, as I keep alluding to. Yeah, really great. He's watching the catch up. What I love is I keep changing my mind on our first 11. That is it. Do you know what? That's the thing. How many times, I spoke to Bobby about this. How many times did we pick a first 11 for him? Like a 11 lineup, and everybody had the same 11.
Mm,
Now it's going to be like, oh, okay. Nah, it's going to be everyone's going to have different ones. We
mhm,
might get one or two kind of people kind of like having the same, but pretty much you're gonna get like 4 or 5 different lineups, which could be strong enough to get the job done. I think now Arteta's now as today, as you're saying with Martinelli, and not Trossard, is horses for courses. Whoever you're playing
mhm,
against, then you kind of make the decision from there. Brenny
mhm,
K74 Trossard adding goals to the assists in January and friendlies and competitive game. I would start against Forest. Maybe it'll be tough to see. Chelsea look good in pre-season though. Apparently, okay,
mhm.
we'll
Yeah.
see that when the when we get into the real business.
Mhm,
Penalties. Well, we scored. Odegaard scored his first penalty. De Bruyne then steps up, hits the bar. Really
mhm,
surprised from that. Really surprised from that. From there on, obviously, then we didn't miss any. And I think even Ramsdale saved one, and boom, pie. Happy days. I think
mhm,
we've been quite decent with penalties. I think maybe that we've tested them or kind of practiced them since the defeat against Sporting in Europa. But
mhm,
I'm happy with I think it was justice. I think it was a tight game, but I think we deserved the win. I think if you put it on chances, I think we deserved actually, and I think we had a really good game plan and we stuck to it
mhm.
and we implemented it, and I'm very very happy.
Yeah.
You want to sum it up for us?
Yeah, no, it's good to see the confidence we were taking them. Um, Big up Saka. He was the one I was so worried about when he stepped up. So I was like, I just really hope he doesn't miss
Yeah,
again. But he took his really nice. Trossard took his well. And then big up Vieira. Obviously, he missed in the first preseason shootout we had, and then everyone was on to him. And then since then, he scored 2 and 2. But again, quality. And I think it was good that Ramsdale saved the one before because it was score to win. But even if we didn't score, we still had a 1 goal buffer as such. So
yeah.
it really kind of got rid of a lot of the pressure. And yeah, good for him. Like he's done some right touches in there. A couple of bits he could have done better, but yeah, it's said it's a collective, it's a team effort, and like yeah, it's nice. Someone said it earlier, like does it mean much? And I think it's just that confidence to show we can go with City and compete. I think it would have been 9 games in a row we lost to them if we lost today. So we just broke
Yeah.
the cut. So yes, it's a draw in terms of 90 minutes worth of football, but that's still a positive result compared. And again, we weren't at home as much as it felt like we was at home in that stadium. We wasn't actually
Oh,
at home. Um,
yeah.
but yeah, so
It was brilliant.
it's a
Our fans
positive.
today, that's a special mention actually. Our
Mm,
fans today were absolutely superb.
mm,
Out
mm, mm.
singing Man City.
It
Um,
wasn't hard. I could think I outsung them by myself. To be fair, um, they were silent. And I think even once
they
we
were.
actually first went quiet, and we kind of moved it, making a little to think you're not going to say something, and then we sing a song for you, kind of rang around the stadium.
Yeah.
So yeah, they were silent. Oh, could I give another special mention before we go though, Canna? So I've got to bounce
Yeah.
in a second. Whoever organised the music today, again, fair play to you lot. Because at the end of the game, I'm not sure if you noticed it, but all the
Yes.
songs which we got for chance for, they played all those
Yeah.
songs.
They,
So
they, they brought them in.
we
Like
had
the
Saliba
first one they
was
did was
first
called
one,
Saliba.
yeah, then Zinchenko, then Saka and Smith Rowe,
Yeah.
Rice Baby, come on.
Yeah.
Then North London Forever. So like all the chants, so the
It
fans
was
we
brilliant.
just singing along to it. It was so much fun. And then you see some of the players like Zinchenko was dancing to it when his one come on again, when Gold come on, and yeah, it was a real nice
It was a
touch.
lovely
So
touch. It
yeah.
was
So
a
fair
lovely
play
touch.
to organise that at Wembley. But yeah, it was really good to watch, and I enjoyed it very much. I must say.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I thought that was a lovely touch, and it was just yeah, it was really good actually to see the players as well and all
Even
that
my
kind of
favorite one come on as well. The Santi Cazorla song come on as well. So that was again, the fans were going wild in my section when that one come on, and Santi's one of my favorite players. So yeah, it was good.
Absolutely.
Someone has done their homework, and yeah, really,
Yeah, no,
it's
no,
those,
no,
those
fair
little
play to
details,
them.
isn't it?
No, the little things. Do you know what I mean those little things? And it just made it all. It was great, and to see all of them lift up the the shield, and they were all happy and everything.
Mm.
It's good to see. It's a squad that's building together. There might be a slight worry there. We did see a little kind of. I'm not sure how true it is about Jorginho.
Mm.
If there is truth in
It's part and parcel of the game, innit?
is what it is. I'm not
Yeah.
sure what his issue is, but I'm pretty sure it'll all come out in the wash at some point. But yeah, absolutely. I think we pretty much covered it really. I mean, the only other thing I was to say, ref watch.
Awful. If the party one is for kicking the ball, then fair enough. But it seemed like every time they pulled one of our shirts and stopped our counter, it was a talking to. Every time we done it, it was a yellow card. Booked Arteta, who knows what for, um, and just kept throwing his card around the place like it was crazy. And then
But
yeah,
it's like,
someone yeah,
how many? What does Rodri have to do to get a
to
card?
get
By the way,
booked. Yeah, it's ridiculous. One of his was horrendous
all
pullback and nothing at all. It was bad. It was really bad. Um, but fair play to the boys who didn't let it affect us. We carried on, and again,
yeah,
that was harsh because Partey was on a yellow card from the third minute. It's like manage the game properly because you set yourself up to fail.
yeah,
Um, and yeah, but again, the players done well. Gabriel's yellow card was a joke as well.
absolutely,
He's trying to run out the box to get back.
yeah.
Martinelli really should have got the card because he stood on the 6 yard box and the ball ricocheted from back of Gabriel to Martinelli, and then Gabriel gets a yellow card for running backwards. It was ridiculous.
Make it make
Um,
sense.
yeah, that one was ridiculous as well. But
You
good
want to
to
answer across the pond question here because I don't know who that would have been. Any idea?
did Gabriel take one the other day
No, he was.
pre-season?
I saw him. His number 6. He was lining up on the side at the side. He
Oh,
wasn't in.
didn't he? Yeah, he came off.
Yeah, he came off.
ESI, I haven't seen ESI ever take one, so I wouldn't put him down.
Hmm,
Um, that's difficult. Nketiah maybe.
maybe didn't
He
need
looked
him
like a
anyway.
bit.
Hey,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
whoever it was, didn't need you.
They, they were probably happy. They were probably happiest people in the stadium, knowing that they're coming up with
probably,
due to come up.
probably.
So yeah.
Yeah, it was a great day. To be fair.
Before we go though, Canners, we two things. Firstly, we haven't done Arteta yet,
Oh,
and then I've got to just give a special shout out to someone I met today. But yeah, give me a score for
yes.
Arteta today.
No, no.
We haven't
First
done
and
we haven't done
foremost.
player ratings. Or this,
Uh,
can I just jump in? Player ratings 8 for everybody. Happy with that?
I'm happy with that.
Anyone
I'll go
getting
with that.
Saliba a 9 maybe, and that's it. Wrap it
Maybe,
there,
yeah,
yeah.
we don't do 0.5, do we? So we have to
Nah,
round it up to a
let's
9.
get,
So
I tell
yeah,
you what, let's
I
get let's
think
get let's
Saliba
get
and
the
I,
back five a 9. Let's get the back five a 9, and the rest of the team get 8. I think that's fair.
absolutely, I'm happy with that. And Arteta,
I'll give him a. Do you know? I'll give him a 9 today. Um,
yeah. If it
I
was a
don't
clean
think
sheet, I would have given him a 10. Had we won
10,
that
and
game
but
1
his
0
fault
oh
do you know what I mean? Nothing to do with our tactical approach to the game. It was just a bit of sloppy. But again, we didn't score kind
yeah,
of until right at the end. So yeah, I'll give him a
that
9.
was
I
the
think
thing.
that's fair for today for him. What about yourself? What would you give him?
I think I'd agree with you really. I think the way people were moaning in the first 20 minutes a lot. Oh, get into them,
Mm,
blah blah. I was just thinking, nah, we do that, we're in trouble. So I think Arteta basically all week drilled his team, and I think yeah, I'll give him a 9. Really, the only thing that was missing was the goal. Really, to go
yeah.
1-0 up.
Yeah, 100%. And I think you got to
Because
give him credit for the changes he made because he went to a back three. I don't know if you noticed it. He played
yeah,
Tierney,
Tierney,
White, and Saliba. He took off
Saliba,
Gabriel and put another attacker on. So he really went for it, and that did make the difference. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah,
fair play to him. But just want to before I go, Candace, so I can give a shout out to someone I met today.
yeah.
They brought a ticket 2 days ago. Um, and then had to sort out a plane ticket from Canada to get to here to watch the match. It was his first game in England. He made it amazing for me, to be fair. You watch the purity of it, and Yeah, he is amazing guy. So we've added him to to our group chat. Big up Tega. He might jump on some stream soon. He knows his stuff. He loves the club. And
Listen, to do
yeah,
that, to just off a drop of a hat,
2 days notice, he got himself a
go across
flight.
the pond to
Yeah,
watch a game, and hey, do you know what? We won the game. He's
and
going home happy.
yeah, he's a good luck charm. He's been to watch 2 Arsenal games. This was his second game ever. The first one was Chelsea in pre-season last year when we won 4-0. He said he got a flight to America. So
Wow.
he's on a good run. So I told him I'm gonna lend him your season tickets. Make sure you keep getting these wins. So that, I said just keep getting your flights and we'll sort out the tickets for you. But
We'll
no,
sort
big
it
up
out
him.
one way or another. No
Um,
doubt. No
yeah,
doubt.
it was good to watch. And sometimes you go to football, as much of it all Arsenal fans, you get there, you sit in your seat, you watch a game, you go home. He's just talking to everybody and interacting. He had our whole section. We was all then become good friends at
Lovely.
the end of it. And
That's what
we
it's
got
about. It was a
yeah,
great day. A great day.
it
A
was an
great day
amazing
all
day.
around. I mean, look, we won. So what better can it? Yeah, Canada. Top good is
That's
here.
too much. We're capping it at 3, all right, Moss.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, Melina as well. She's from my channel.
Yeah,
Yeah, she's okay. She was there today. Oh, hopefully, she's okay. So, yeah, no, it's great. It's
yeah.
all good. All good. So, Gumsa, where can everyone find you, man?
On X at Guna Gumsa, um, formerly known as Twitter, but I'm about. But
Yeah,
again, I'm here for the reactions. That's where you see me mainly. We got the rest of the guys as well who do all the other stuff. Tony, massive shout out to you with a new video.
absolutely.
Bobby and the rest of you guys for the watch alongs. Moss, yeah, you lot are amazing and keeping this channel growing. So yeah, we're here. We're striving. I'm looking forward to this season, man. Like it's just a great time to be an Arsenal fan again.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There was one thing. Sorry, Tony. He's asking, is Bobby okay? Cannons is a bit strong. Yeah, he's all right. He's all right. Bobby will be around on Tuesday. He's all good. He's all good. Don't worry about Bobby.
Yeah,
Um, Listen, obviously, I will be back on Tuesday with Bobby as a co-host. Obviously, there's a lot of news that is probably going to be happening off the back also as well of our first competitive game of the season. Let's hope that sets us up neatly for the game against Forest. It's going to be a busy week. We will be having previews for the Forest game. We'll obviously cascade the timings for those as soon as. But all I can say is that it's all good to start off the season with a win. I tell you what, Gumsa, it's been brilliant having you on today, and thank you.
yeah,
And one in the comments, please, if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe, and obviously keep smashing the likes. And thank you for the interaction today. If it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't be. Look, we've just gone on for over an hour.
yeah.
Because
I'm in
you
trouble
guys.
now as well.
Same here. So I better stop waffling.
Lovely,
Guys,
Callum. Thank you.
amazing. Gumsa, thank you so much. Everyone in the
Appreciate it.
chat. Good evening, all.